So let's say for instance, then kill zone ne, wannan vertical line represents kill zone, right? So if let's say market ta taho ta yi breaking structure, za ta ba mu swing high, za ta ba mu swing low. So let's say wannan point din kill zone ne. So usually a kill zone nan za ka ga ko idan kill zone din ya bude ko kafin ya bude za a ajiye inducement. Market za ta danyi kama ka sai can za ta yi sweeping low din nan sai ta yi continuation. So abin da ya sa muke taking trades a kill zone saboda volume. If you guys can recall, mun shiga baby pips kwanaki ba, mun yi talking about volume. So what we usually used to do around here is za mu ɗauka inducement. If let's say this one is our inducement, we will now call this as what? Plus y. I used to call inducement with what? Plus y. So if this one is plus y, meaning inducement, we use Fibonacci from the inducement low to the inducement high. So me dragging it to the right towards inner, towards close. If let's say this is a New York range, let's say this is close. So if this one is close, and then we now have this range. Let's say we have a break-up structure here. So this one is a break-up structure. Here. So then, since we have this break-up structure, now we now have the range. So this is our range. We'll now write out P. This one will now be our protected what? Protected low. So meaning what we anticipate is that no matter how price is going to move, it's going to pick up the inducement here, right? For it to be able to go up to take out this high, right? And then our stop loss will now put our entry. Our entry will now be like anchor points in the kill zone din ya showing da kuma inda 1.2 yake. So in this case, this is the anchor point. So now use our entry like this. Stop loss has to go below protected low to be reasonable. Then we now attack highs. If let's say for instance, we have a buy side liquidity sitting above here, meaning let's say we did have a high that goes like this, then comes this way. So anan mun sami me? Now here will now be our valid what? Change of character. And then this one will not, sorry, that one will be BOS, and then this one will now be our change of character. So meaning we'll be having fractal coming in from here, creating this range just immediately before New York open. And then which range is that? Is a bullish range. So when the range in Shizami marking out, in ka sa gun from the low to the high gun box, zai baka 50%. So anything above 50% is premium, anything below 50% is discount. So in this scenario, price yeah aligning with what? Discount. And then we're able to what identify an inducement, then market should come in, tap into 1.2. Sometimes it might go a little bit below P. Then I add week sometimes. Kuna da ganin zai juya. In ya juya ina ne first liquidity din shi? This high will be liquidity, this high will be liquidity, and then that high will be liquidity. So kaga kenan mun sami me? Market maker buy model. Market ta yi dumping, ta yi changing character, ta ba mu New York range, and then that range is supposed to be a what? A bullish range. If it's a bullish range, we now mark this fractal, and then we anticipate inducement. So inducement in shi za mu calculating ya ba mu Fibonacci din mu. So Fibonacci settings mu will now go to the buying double clicking. This is what we use. We use 1.1 and then 1.2. 1.1 is very close to inducement zone. 1.2 is a bit far. Ya danganta. Idan let's say for instance, da na zana Fibonacci started falling very close to protected low. So I won't be using 1.2. So then I will now switch to 1.1. I want to see a situation or a scenario whereby price is where, sorry, the entry is at the equilibrium of the what inducements and the protected low. Hope you guys are following.
Yes, sir. We are following.
So protected low is what we usually anticipate. Idan ka ga entry very close to protected low, so that's a valid one. If it's not close to protected low, so you need to wait. Let's say, for instance, our protected low is here, and then market somewhere around here. So what are we going to do? Are we going to say we are going to enter around here, go let's say above here? We won't. Because if we enter around here, one of the bigger stop loss. So we need our what entry to be at the at least equilibrium of the what in sorry discount zone. Should be at least in the equilibrium of the discount zone for a little bit deeper. Amma kada ya manne, kada ya je very close to what? To protected low. So then we now anticipate price to come back, pick the inducement first, and then tap into our entry and then go because this is our protected low. Meaning, idan dai kaga price ya go in haka, so something else is about to happen. Meaning all this change of character, all this behavior is there is a lie, which ba koyaushe yake wannan ba. Most of the time, as far as making structure intact, that is the price yana behaving. That's why we use at least 2 days worth of data on intraday. That means using 2 days, that means using previous day, and that means using today. So I use that mean marking what we want to see, sorry, what structure is doing, and then how we are going to place our what entry. So what I want to do is let's go open some pairs and see what we have. I added the WTI, but same na buga my analysis. So let me see. Bara wannan oil din ya bude. So check out oil. Let me remove everything. So what happened? What happened that gold, WTI do this? What is WTI? WTI wannan kenan oil, right? Hello, who is the class captain? Someone should be talking, at least.
Okay, sir, we're active, sir.
So very good. So the WTI, that's oil. So ya aka me yasa price ya pumping up har zuwa nan high din? So let's calculate and see. First thing that we are going to mark is what? The close. So this right here is the close. And then can do the
Yes.
closing for the weekend. So now mark the close. This is C. So then we now mark prior. Prior meaning yesterday kenan. So we now say, okay, this is our what? Prior. So within this range, daga wannan pointing zuwa wannan pointing, we are having what? A market structure that is worth 2 days. And then all we have to do is what? Mark and understand what structure is doing. You understand? On that 2 days. So let's go back to 2 hour and then mark out the macro highs. Macro highs are what? Buy side liquidity and what? Sell side liquidity.
Sell time.
So what can we see? Bara koma baya. So what happened is that if let's say ka tashi New York, sorry, at London Open. If you now wake up at London Open, let's say this one is what? Let me just mark it as close because in so muga points then kapon ya faru. So when you wake up or when you open your chart, price is sitting on this what? On this red candle. So let me remove this. So this is the red candle that we are sitting at. So muka kalli left. Muka kalli left in how am I going to say? In conjunction with close, za mu ga akwai high din nan, akwai high din nan, akwai high din nan, akwai high din nan. So all the liquidity that is sitting above, we have buy side. We have buy side liquidity here. We have another buy side.
Liquidity, yes.
Another buy side liquidity. Then what? Another buy side liquidity. So since this is the red candle that opened, these are the what buy side liquidity that we have. Meaning, if price wants to go up from the point it's sitting at, it will attack this side, this side, this side, and then maybe that high. So now we now mark the lows. Since price is sitting around here, all this we have relative equal lows kind of. Even though one low that I'm taking in should be a week. If you mark that guy, liquidity grab with a week. But all we have to say is we have liquidity sitting here. We also have liquidity that is sitting here. Then we now look to the left again. So we have this low, this low, this low, this low, this low, and that low. So think of what the lows in our liquidity. So what are we going to do? We now mark this low. Since we saw price at here, when we begin, we saw price, let's say we saw price around this red candle. So then this one will be our what? Macro low. Meaning that is the first sell side liquidity that if price wants to go down, is going to take it out. So then we now mark what? This high. Since let's say price look at high. So we mark this high. This high will now be our what? Our macro high. So meaning that is the first liquidity, buy side liquidity that we have. And then this one is the first sell side liquidity that we have. So then we can now mark the rest. We can mark this one or the other one. But I prefer to use this one as an all-time high because one and the one and they are very close. So this one will now be our what? All-time high. Also, this one too will be our what? All-time high. We'll now say this one is what? OTH. That is all-time high. Meaning if price take out macro high, then it might continue to go up and take out what? All-time high. Then coming down, we have this low to the left, all these lows, all these lows. So which one am I going to use? I'm going to use this one. Somebody one and fair value gap. So I'm going to use it as all-time low. So idan na haka na riga na making all buy side liquidity, the sell side liquidity. Then kuma after na mark wannan, say na understanding what is structure doing. I'm not going to mark. What I'm just going to do is understand what structure is doing. I will now say, all right, we have break of structure here. We have change of character, meaning then we have a fractal that is going up from here. Since we have a change of character, we have a fractal that is going up from here, right? Then we now have this break of structure, kind of a change of character. Here retracing back, here kind of dropping. What is some break of structure? I can take you one and hide. Then price comes, then you create another high, you retracing, and then you create another high, right? So then after I'm going matching all the what liquidity, then we now drop down to what? To intraday. So on the 30 minutes, what we are now going to do on the 30 minutes is this.
Salim. Okay, a 30 minutes ake gane intraday kenan.
Yawwa, a 30 minutes ake bin intraday. And then za ka yi marking structure. Bayan ka yi marking 2-hour macro highs da lows. Ka marking out liquidity ɗinka, external liquidity ɗinka from 2-hour. Meaning the liquidity ɗin da yake on 2-hour, ka riga ka san shi. Idan market ta taking macro high, it might go up and continue to take out what? Macro low. I'm sorry, another all-time high. Do you understand what I mean? Kamar yanzu idan market ta pushing up, ta taking macro high, it can continue pushing up to take all-time high, right? Ya danganta. So we mark our macro high, we mark our macro low. So what is next? What is next is that za mu zo daidai inda PR yake. That's prior kenan. We now start marking structures. We can now say, all right, this is what a break of structure. A break of structure ba ta zama valid har sai an samu full candle body closure. Idan kaga candle ya je yayi weaken, so that means liquidity grab akai. It's not a valid what break of what structure. Saboda sometimes zaka ga market tana za ta attempting kaga ta yi kamar canjin character ta bar weak. Sai kai kuma ka je ka bita. Right? Musamman on 5 minutes. Yanzu ka zo nan wajen on 5 minutes gani za ka yi order ai akwai break of structure candle body ya closing bara nemi order block ana ci gaba da selling. Kana selling market are going up da kai ake displacement. So you have to be very careful. 30 minutes, 15 minutes su suke clearing out the noise. Za ka ga everything intact. So after that, we now say this low. First of all, we have a liquidity graph. Kun ga abin da nake fara. Then finally, candle ya ƙara closing a gaba. So this one is what also a valid what break of structure. In kuma baka so ka sa nan, you can now put it below here. You now say this is your what break of structure. Then you also mark this one. So ka go na liquidity graph ne. But what are we now going to say? That means dragging ɗin shi. All right, this is what plus Y. Meaning wannan load din ba break of structure akai ba liquidity grab akai. So meaning baya nufin cewa trend zai ci gaba da going down, right? Then after the liquidity grab, then we now have this displacement. A displacement, don't worry, don't throw a knot on it, everything inshallah. When you prepare it, not but more than you prepare it because weekends they have to like kind of liberty in your way, right? So this week, the students, I will try to create the notes and then send it. I will now attach it with the video and then send it. Then inshallah. So
okay, sir. Last note din da kake ba ka manta.
Na'am?
Last note din da kace ka manta baka tura ba. Ka ce za ka tura last note din da muka yi last
wannan based on wannan abin. So ba mu gama ba ina so mu samu more examples.
Okay, duka gaba gida da.
Na'am?
Okay, na gane.
Yawwa, very good.
Na fahimta. Hadawa za ka yi baki ɗaya kenan.
Very good. Tunda directional bias and time framing zan hada su gaba ɗaya sai kuma Fibonacci extensions. Yanzu zan nuna muku muka ga wannan zan nuna muku ya ake zana Fibonacci extensions. And then what are the reasons that zai samu zana what Fibonacci extensions. So let's continue with this day. So we have a what liquidity graph at Y. Then after that we have this displacement. And aka ce displacement ana nufin big candles with big moves, right? Akwai volume a cikin candle. So idan kaga irin wannan a daidai point in change of character, ka riga ka san market so take ta juya. Kana ganin displacement candles. So you can call them with imbalance, right? Displacements there, man can call this with displacement. Yeah, you have making sense. So we have a displacement of this high. Now this high got broken. So since we have liquidity graph here, we have displacement of this high. So then this one will not be a valid what? Change of character. So when I'm getting change of character, what are we going to do? Same with our part the moon, same with an fractal somewhere within there. So then some bullish zami, we know that we are buying. But where are we buying at? We are buying at either London Open or New York Open. Right?
I'm sorry, sir. I have me bambanci tsakanin break of structure da change of character na ga shi ma duk yana breaking.
All right. The difference between break of structure and change of character shine break of structure yana indicating continuation na trend. Dan kaga BOS, dan kaga bullish break of structure, this zan yi muku sending inshallah I will do everything. I will send it. Idan kaga bullish break of structure, that means kana anticipating continuation na buying kenan. Hope you understand. Idan kaga bearish break of structure, kana anticipating continuation na selling. Amma idan kaga change of character yana nufin trend yayi changing kenan. An yi changing direction. An yi flipping from downtrend to uptrend.
From uptrend to downtrend ko from uptrend to downtrend. Na gane.
Yawwa, to shine.
Na gane.
Shine change of character. So from this point, mun samu
Breaking zai
displacement.
iya zuwa ya dawo.
Now,
Breaking zai iya zuwa ya dawo ya ci gaba da wannan shi kuma change of character wannan change of character shi in ya tafi kenan kuma ya canja
kaga baraka ga. If let's say
direction gaba ki na
if
gane
let's
na
say we are
fahimta.
having a market that is moving like this, moving like this. So abin da yake nufi shine wannan ba bullish bane. So duk wani high da aka yi taken an yi what breaking structure. In other words, an yi liquidity grab of this high. Kaga kenan akwai liquidity a nan. Market ta yi tracing back, ta pulling back, sai ta going up, sai ta breaking structure to the upside. So kaga kenan yana nuna mana cewa me bullish continuation. So muka samu break of structure, wannan low din zai zama protected. Idan dai har market ba ta going below it ba, mun riga mun san trend is going to continue trending, right? Then we now have another retracement, another up. Say, okay, what's going break of structure, our continuation of trend, meaning this one will now be our new protected low. This one will now be our new protected low. Then we now have, we can indicate fractal that, okay, this is a continuation. So I can anticipate if price is retracing, specifically usually into discount, a corner range, akwai premium, akwai discount. So sama 0.5 above 0.5 to can to let's say 0 is what premium. 0.5 to downside is what discount. So that jira price da dawo discount. As far as be going below P bar, you anticipate continuation. Right? To shi kuma change of character. Change of character. I think that is some change of character. If we have this one as our last break of what structure, and then let's say we now have this one as our last protected low. Then if price go down from here after a breaking structure, there's a break in P. So we now anticipate what this P will now turn into what change of what character. The last low that I taken, right? This is a change of character. So then we now have our new one hiding will now be what protected. This side will now be protected. Now we anticipate price to go into what premium side, and then after that we anticipate continuation of what structure. Continuation of structure. So right here, break of structure, yana indicating what continuation. Shi kuma change of character, yana what indicating what reversal. Hope you understand now.
I understand, sir.
Very
good.
Inshallah. Abin da ake so kai shine ka yi kokari ka dinga identifying zones ɗinka. Zones ɗin BOS da zones ɗin protected lows and highs. Shi yasa muke using 2 days. Za mu using 2-day data, mu combine it to today ta bamu
what? I can identify them, inshallah.
Na'am? Ban ji ba?
I can identify it, inshallah.
So fine, inshallah. So let's go back. So we have a displacement. Sai muka samu change of character because I price da ya to daga wannan high din ne. Ya to daga wannan high ne sai going down, ya ɗanyi sama, ya yi ƙasa, ya yi breaking structure, ya ƙara sama, ya yi ƙasa, ya ƙara sama, ya ƙasa. Time din nan that is kenan on ba mu ga wani day ne. That is on Thursday. So on Thursday, kaga a New York range in nan, daidai somewhere around here. In kai marking fifth ɗinka from this low to that high, zai baka what 1.2. So entry ɗinka will be entry ɗinka on that day will be here, and then you're anticipating this low. Let's say this low, shi zai zama protected low. So stop loss ɗinka will be a little bit below it. So you can use 1.1 ma. Then you now start targeting this high kuma. So ka kenan ta ranar Thursday za ka sami entry. And then Thursday ta yi, Friday ta yi, still menene target in dama? Wannan ne target. Don ka tuna market maker models da muka yi. We did market maker buy model, we did market maker what? Sell model. Na tura muku wannan a kan shi ma ban yi not a
Eh,
kan
ka tura. Eh, ka tura.
Na tura market maker models?
Eh, ka tura market maker buy model da ka ga kamar nan da aka samu. From sell ya tafi buy inda aka samu change of character.
Eh, to fine ba damuwa. Ba damuwa. Bara mu gama da wannan example din. So we now have this what? This low as liquidity graph sai aka changing character, meaning on fara going up. So from this low will now be our what? Next protected low, meaning as far price never go below this low, we are going up. And then muka check about the going up, what are we targeting? We are going to target this side as buy side liquidity, also this side as buy side liquidity, then all-time high as what? Buy side liquidity. So we now have our range. Then coming into London, that day, that is on Friday, what price did was it goes up, comes down. You are not doing anything. In fact, somewhere around here you were sleeping because that is Asia, right? Asia, right?
Yes.
So what happened is that when it comes to Marubuzu now, we have a what? Break of structure on it. Then after that, where is the high? Alhamdulillah. Where is the high that caused this break of structure? So this is the high that caused this break of structure. So we now mark the high and say, all right, this is the high that caused what? Change of character. We now mark it as what? Change of character. So muna ganin an yi displacement in nan. So za mu sa fractal a nan. Meaning we are going up because we have another what? Change of character. So a nan wajen, from here, since we are going up, and then London has opened, idan kage kenan mun samu London range. Mun samu London range. So me za mu will now mark this low da ya question wannan high din, ya question change of character. Za mu mark low din as what? As protected low. So meaning as far price never go below this low, then the other change of character, we are still going to go up. We are still buying. And then in cut a gun box, let's say you want to calculate premium and discount from this low to that high, Zakaga, market should get discount because it is way below 50. Right? It is way below 50. So we're not asking discount.
Yes.
And then change of character, we are what's going up. Everything is showing that we are going up. Everything is showing that we are going up. So what are we now going to do? So we now start to look for inducement. So when the region, daga nan zuwa nan, this range, like this, daga nan zuwa nan, if we cannot see what is happening below there, then we now switch to what? 15 minutes. Because when I assume identifying what inducements a wannan range da kuma me, da kuma entry point. So we reach from here to here. So clearly this is the range. We have a range, but do we have any inducements? Do we have any fair value gap? Hello, do we have inducement or any fair value gap?
Gaskiya ban gan shi ba.
Kaga babu ko? So how are you going to do it in this scenario? Kaga ka san you are bullish, but how are you going to do in this scenario? So when kaga baka ƙara ganin shi, but you can switch down again. Sai ka je 5 minutes, amma me kanka yana kan wannan structure din daga nan zuwa nan. Class zai ending yanzu. So bari an sending muku wani link. Just stay online, bari an sending the next link.